Chapter 8. Welcome back, everyone. We are continuing the story of Jin Hyuk, whose favorite game turned into reality, and he is using his game knowledge to get super strong as soon as possible. If you haven't watched the previous part, the link is in the description. Before continuing, I would like to thank all of you who subscribed. I really appreciate it. It gives me a lot of motivation to keep posting regularly. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Thank you, everyone. With that said, let's continue the story. Jin Hyuk saw the copy conditions and smiled while saying, in other words, make him mad, right? Of course, that was easy. Especially since it was already this kind of situation, it would be even more straightforward. The skill. You can stop using it. What? What do you mean? Actually, you didn't have to use it. Shouldn't there be something else? Mung Wu was doing this because he had asked him to use magic to weaken the barrier. What was this new nonsense now? The way he was working now was different from the start. It would have been simpler to write the Latin spell carpo on the part where the barrier's magic was deviating. The person who made this barrier was just level 1 after all. Then why did you ask me to use the skill? Why? To deplete all your magic. Because of that. Jin Hyuk watched him sweat profusely and work hard. The man didn't even have the strength left to lift a finger anymore. Then what if the map he had wanted so much was burned in front of him? Weak! Jin Hyuk used a lighter he had. In an instant, the fire began to spread through the old parchment. What are you doing now? Why are you burning down the map? Just why? As I said, I don't need this map. He already knew everything about the tower. The map meant nothing to him. It isn't worth giving to someone else either. With the map, someone could find information up to the 10th floor. He would then lose the sole advantage that he had. Then obviously, he needed to get rid of the map. Like right now. You fucker! I will kill you! I will burn you dry! You fucking bastard! Mung Wu lost his temper. Wow, this man spits out quite a lot of curses when he gets angry. This was why you couldn't judge people by just their appearance. Condition has been met. You successfully copied the skill, Element of Fire, B. The copied skill is saved in memory of the world. Element of Fire. Acquisition difficulty, B. Description. Allows the user to handle flames and increases affinity with fire. A status window appeared, indicating that the conditions were met. The Element of Fire. Not a bad start for the first copy. You will regret this. I will make you regret this. Mung Wu glared at Jin Hyuk as he ground his teeth with an expression that showed his intent to kill him. Well, he didn't seem to fully understand the situation yet. Who had the upper hand here? Jin Hyuk shrugged. I don't think you understand. Don't you get why I burned the map? Please hit the like button so more people can enjoy this awesome story, and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Now let's get back to the story. It meant he didn't need the information up to the 10th floor. No. Mung Wu looked at Jin Hyuk with killing intent. But why should I listen to you? After setting you on fire, I can get any information I want from you. If you think you can win in a one-on-one fight. Jin Hyuk's eyes turned cold as red flames erupted from both of his hands. LV1 Element of Fire has been activated. Wake! The huge flames began to burn brightly. Is that? Mung Wu's eyes shook as he saw the flames. He almost screamed at this unbelievable sight. How? Do you have the same abilities as mine? No. Not the same. It was stronger and hotter. There was no doubt about it. It had to be at least 1 or 2 levels higher. The gap between their flames had widened because of the inherent difference in their stats. Gulp. Mung Wu gulped, even if he had his magic. Can I win? Mung Wu shook his head as he was filled with worry. It is impossible. A smaller flame couldn't swallow a larger one. He understood now how Li Yuri had been taken out. Those stone statues of her couldn't have handled it. But now, there was something about this that didn't make sense. You had such power. So why are you hiding it? You could have killed me easily if you had shown your strength from the start. What would be the reason for that? Jin Hyuk smiled. Do I have to explain it all to you? What? It is my job to question and give you orders, while yours is just to follow. Mung Wu, who had been looking at Jin Hyuk in the eyes, averted his gaze. You answer? I will. As expected. He smiled. I will contact you at a later time. Until then, you should level up with the girl downstairs and work hard. Even if he tried to use them now, they would be too weak and be a burden for him. At least, until they are useful, I will let them grow. Jin Hyuk walked down the stairs, leaving his back open for attacks. Step. He looked defenseless enough to be a tempting target for attack. However, Mung Wu didn't even lift a finger. He couldn't. He had no other way either. If he tried to threaten me clumsily, I might attack him back. That was human psychology. It was around sunrise as Jin Hyuk left the museum. It was a really long day. It felt like doing a whole month's work in a single day. Ugh! Jin Hyuk stretched out his body. As he slowly relaxed his arms and legs, he felt his aching body loosen up. The Tower of Trials would open in the evening, so until then, should I eat and maybe rest my eyes? But, before taking a rest, he needed to check something. Status window. Jin Hyuk mumbled into the air. And, Tring. Name, Kang Jin Hyuk. Gender, male. Age 27. Level, 1. Strength, 8. Dexterity, 8. Health, 7. Magic, 11. Stat points, 0. Occupation, none. Unique ability, combine. Skill, LV1, Element of Fire. LV1, Eye of Truth. The status window had changed. New things were added to the previously empty spots under unique abilities and skill windows. Nice, he exclaimed unknowingly. It had to be because he had acquired the unique ability considered to be the most deceptively strong. It was just one step past the starting line, but he couldn't help as his body trembled in anticipation. Let's be calm. Jin Hyuk managed to calm his heart. The first thing I should do is collect as many unique abilities and skills as possible. I must set my priorities and collect the most necessary skills. Growl. A strong vibration came from his stomach. It was because he had been moving on an empty stomach all night. I need to have some soup or something. Jin Hyuk went straight into the Sunday soup restaurant that was open 24 hours a day. Tring. The door opened and a bell rang. But the atmosphere inside felt weird. Oh, is this for real? Dozens of customers, employees, and even the boss. All eyes were drawn to the breaking news. The government is investigating this unidentified building called the Tower of Trials, and a special department called the Awakened Association has been established mainly for civil servants who can use special abilities. Jin Hyuk mumbled while looking interested. Awakened Association. The government's response was quicker than expected. Moreover, considering that the department was composed of people who had awakened their unique abilities, they must have been very flexible in accepting this task. This is surprising. He thought it would take a few weeks for the world to adjust to this. The government's quick response was probably due to what happened in the morning. Yes, it is true. At least 23 people died, and more than 50 were injured at the National Museum of Korea. The death toll is expected to continue and rise as some of the people have critical injuries. That is it. That is why this policy is being implemented. It seemed that they had been targeting the relics inside the museum. Similar incidents have been reported not only in Korea, but also in the United States, Europe, China, and Japan. The British Museum in England, the Louvre in France, and the Museum of Natural History in the United States. As expected. Players from other nations had moved too, to secure relic replicas, to prepare for the climb up. First of all, let's take a look at the CCTV footage. The screen changed. What appeared was a scene of 2 men and a woman fighting. The sight of the woman controlling the Anubis statues was shocking. Kwang, the figure of a man hitting a spear away with his bare hands. Quack quack quag. The footage of the tiger's summoning was also quite shocking. The sight of said tiger tearing down the 5 Anubis statues even left the TV announcer in shock. Well, this was expected, because everything was far beyond normal. It is hard to believe, but this footage was not modified in any way. The announcer said that after a few seconds of silence. The inside of the restaurant became even noisier. It makes no sense. Can that be done by any human? Oh my. Just who is it? The customers, most of them relatively older, tilted their heads. On the other hand, that one. He was the one who appeared in the Tower of Trials community a while back. Ah, the video of the mangrove tree being taken out using a piece of wood. Right. The amazing reflexes and movements. The younger customers recognized the figure at once. It is the most popular topic on the internet and in discussion communities right now. I am curious. Who is that person? Jin Hyuk, who was standing next to them, scratched his forehead shyly. Hearing those words kind of felt weird to him. It was at that moment. A new person appeared on the TV. It was a man in his early 40s with a sharp face. He was Han Sang-jin, who had been placed in charge of the Awakened Association. His face also had distinct scars around his eyes, injuries that were made using a knife or a sword. Han Sang-jin. Jin Hyuk narrowed his eyes. Perhaps that man had been appointed the president of the Awakened Association because he had pretty good abilities. If not, then he was someone who also played the Tower of Trials for a long time. He wished that it was the former. That way, he could copy his abilities if they met one day. While Jin Hyuk was deep in thought, Han Sang-jin continued to speak on the TV. The reason I have appeared here today is to announce a recruitment for those who have awakened. Depending on the grade evaluation, there will be some difference. But we promise to treat you as at least a grade 7 civil servant with an equivalent minimum annual salary. Considering the reality of Korea's employment struggle, this was fine. It seemed like they wanted to get the awakened ones at any cost. It remained to be seen how many would leave behind the new land of freedom to become civil servants. Of course, we will make an exception for the person shown in the video just now. I will personally appeal to the president. If you join us, we will support you by using every means possible by our government. Why was he making such a fuss now? I was the true aim for this. One skilled player over 100 mediocre ones. Han Sang-jin also knew the value of this, so he was clearly trying to convince Jin Hyuk with the equivalent of a blank check. But he must think so low of me. He had no intention of being tied down anywhere, whatever the price they offered. He had no intention of sharing what he knew. Jin Hyuk glanced at the clock on the wall. 12 hours left, at precisely 7 p.m. When the hour hand points to that hour, a new time will start. The door to the Tower of Trials will open. With that, the chapter ends here. What is going to happen next? What is Jin Hyuk going to do once the Tower of Trials opens? To get all the answers, please like and subscribe to the channel. I will be posting the next part soon.